Hey guys, what is up? It is No Help and welcome back to another video today. So if you guys like the video, make sure to go ahead and smash the like button. So in today's video, we are going to be discussing if old school RuneScape should get the skill Artisan or not. Now I want to start this off by saying I myself do not personally want this to be in game per se. I'm just here to talk about the benefits of it, maybe the negatives of it being into the game, and if it is time for old school RuneScape to break out of its shell and get a brand new skill. So the first thing I want to say as well is old school RuneScape has been out a decade now and we haven't got a new skill release. If you look at the history of RuneScape, every few years at least we have gotten a new skill, pretty much always, right? We started off with, getting something as simple as summoning, and then we moved on to dungeoneering. And if you look at the RuneScape 3, every couple of years they seem to release a new skill, and this is kind of how the game has always been. But old school RuneScape has been a decade long now, and we still haven't gotten a new skill. Now I want to say this again, I'm not saying we need a new skill, I'm just here to discuss it. Okay, so for those who do not know, Artisan was something that was pulled a long time ago, and right when it first got pulled, people were immediately just against it, saying that we do not need a new skill in old school RuneScape, but this was years ago, right? Now Artisan sounded like a pretty cool skill. Artisan was basically Slayer, but for skilling. Now, Artisan would have you basically complete contracts similar to Slayer, like how you would go ahead and get tasks, but they would be for skilling activities. Now, I don't know what the rewards would be for this, and I'm sure there would be some pretty cool rewards, but the base idea of the skill sounded pretty interesting, right? A lot of people hate skilling. The one thing that Slayer has that's different than pretty much every other skill in the game is there is variety. Probably Slayer is the most variety skill there is, right? With Slayer, you're also training tons of skills at once, multiple. Every single Slayer task, you're training like 5, 6, 7 different skills at once. Now, Artisan would be similar to this, and you would go ahead and get assignments or tasks, I guess even similar to something like farming contracts, but you would go to an Artisan Master. For example, you'd walk up to the Artisan Master and he would, give you a low level assignment at a low level, right? And he might say, can you craft me 30 leather bodies, right? Then you'd have to go out of your way, get the leather, craft the bodies, bring him back the order of 30 leather bodies, and then you would get your Artisan experience. Sort of similar to how farming contracts work or Slayer, right? Now, why would this be extremely good for the game to get something like this? First of all, it would make training skills a little less tedious and repetitive, right? So, while you're doing the Artisan contract, for example, with that crafting method that I used, you will be gaining crafting experience, right? And then you can go ahead and turn it in for your reward. Maybe you'd get Artisan points, or maybe you'd get some money for completing this order. I don't know how it would work exactly, but that was the idea of the skill itself. You can kind of say these are like dailies. I don't know if you guys remember from RuneScape 3, they had dailies where you had to go and complete contracts. I don't think it would be like this at all. I think it would be more interesting, more fun. They could make like an Artisan guild for it, right? And it would like give you like excuses to train random skills at once. Now this would not be the fastest experience in the world by any means, but it would make skilling have a variety. One day you might be wood cutting, the next day you might be training smithing, and the next day you might be fishing or crafting or training herblore or whatever they are for these contracts. And and over a long period of time you would end up getting all of your skills to where you need them exactly with the Artisan skill, and you'd obviously be training Artisan, right? Now there has to be a point to it, right? So there'd have to be some really cool rewards or a guild, or it could be maybe a money maker, or give you, cool unlocks or perks or something like that to actually make it have a purpose. I used to think Slayer didn't really have a purpose, but there's so many unlocks with Slayer that it probably has one of the most things you can unlock in the entire game, right? There's obviously perks to having Slayer. You have like the Slayer helmet, you have different creatures you can kill, you have bossing Slayer tasks that you can only do on tasks. There would have to be a huge purpose for Artisan to be into the game. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and talk about some negative effects that the Artisan skill would have I guess, on the game, right? A lot of people would hate the update, right? A lot of people want old school RuneScape to stay old school RuneScape. They don't want it to, you know, grow or change or anything like that. Now, I'm personally fine with how it is right now and just making cool little updates and maybe, you know, adding bossing, adding Slayer creatures, whatever they are planning on doing, Raids 3, right? But a new skill would make a lot of players angry, especially, you know, people that are already maxed or whatever it might be. People don't even want a completion escape in this game. Imagine a whole new skill make a lot of people mad. On the other hand, though, it can make a lot of players happy. A lot of players are bored. A lot of players don't know what to do when they're maxed. A lot of players want something new, some new variety. Whenever there's a huge content update on this game, tons of players are super happy that they have new content to go ahead and do for a month, right? Imagine a whole new skill, how much content you would have on this game for a while, right? Like, especially if you had to go ahead and get 99, it could take you months, especially if it's a brand new, nobody knows what they're doing, right? Now, I know this is RuneScape 3, but there is something on RuneScape 3 called the Artisan's Cape. Now, the Artisan's Cape is an expert, whatever, skill cape, and it's pretty much for people who have gotten 99 in the Artisan skills, which are cooking, construction, crafting, fire making, fletching, herb lore, rune crafting, and smithing. So there's a bunch of skills in here, right, that you could go ahead and kind of like make up tasks in a way. For example, let's just go with fire making. You know, you need to go ahead and burn 300 redwood logs, right? And say you're an Ironman account, you don't have those redwood logs, you have to go chop them first, right? So you get woodcutting XP, then you get fire making XP. When you turned it in the contract, you get your Artisan XP. It would be really cool. Same with cooking, right? It might say go cook 500 anglerfish, right? I don't have any anglerfish on me right now. I'm gonna have to go fish them, cook them. It would be really cool. And even for main accounts, right, they'd be buying these items from the Grand Exchange, and that would make the prices stabilized. I think it would be really good for the game. Another thing that I just want to say about the Artisan skill, the reason why I like it so much is it is Slayer for skilling. The reason people like Slayer, like I said at the start of the video, is because the variety of it, the amount of fun you can have with it, and the amount of money you can make with it. Now imagine if they revamped skilling to be one of the best money makers in the game, right? Where you could just make killings with Artisan. Say you had like 90 Artisan, you had to go and complete like massive contracts to cook like 20,000 fish or whatever it might be, and you got a huge amount of like reward for going ahead and doing this. This is something very cool to me. They could even make it go to like level 120 or something, maybe not. I don't know how they would put it into the game or anything, but I think it would be really cool revitalizing skilling into the game and making it more interesting, right? Something like Slayer where it's different all the time. This is just my personal opinion on it, or but that's pretty much all I have to go ahead and say. I don't know if I would vote yes to it on a poll. I probably would, to be honest, just for some new content, but I'm not totally for it and I'm not totally against it. This is just a discussion video talking about the Artisan skill. So let me know down in the comments below if you guys like the Artisan skill, if you would want something like this in the game or not, or if you're totally against a new skill, or maybe you want a new skill but maybe not Artisan. I'd love to know down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video, and I will catch you in the next one. See ya later.